time, what time is it? Game time, what time is it? Game time, what time is it? Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! We ready? Let's go to the house! Let's go to the house! It's a wrap. Game over.
Oh no, this game is just getting started right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. And I was minding my own business yesterday afternoon, just about to do my sports update on one of our other stations, the flagship station, KWWJ, when my phone went bing, 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 bing. And I'm like, what in the world? And it said, AJ, pick up the phone. And I'm like, well, I don't feel like picking up the phone. I'm about to do sports. And it was like, AJ, James Harden just got traded. Now, this wasn't a real person. This was an alert. And the alert was talking to me. The alert was like, Dre, Harden just got traded. So, I had to dig in a little bit. I had to dig in a little bit and see what they were talking about, what y'all talking about. And sure enough, James Harden, wow, I just got another update. James Harden could face a massive tax bill after the trade. The Houston Rockets have traded 8-time All-Star James Harden to Brooklyn as part of a 4-team deal involving Indiana Pacers, Cleveland Cavaliers, and, of course, Brooklyn and the Rockets. The Rockets obtained multiple first-round picks, an opportunity to swap draft picks, and several players, including Victor Oladipo. We'll talk about that in a minute. Dante Exum, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce the old boy's name. Harden demanded a trade because of frustrations with the Rockets, who were 3-6 and seemingly in rebuild mode. And while the former MVP will join superstar Kevin Aloysius Durant and potentially Kyrie Irving, who is currently out for personal reasons, the move will cost Harden money. I didn't see that one coming. The Rockets have offered him a 2-year, $103 million extension that would have allowed the $133 million that he was already owed over the next 3 seasons. That would have followed the 133 that he was already owed. But the Nets will be unable to offer such an extension due to salary cap restrictions. Harden also leaves Texas, one of 9 states without an income tax on wages, for New York. Brooklyn's in New York, one of the nation's highest taxing states. While Harden will continue to be owed the same amount of money over the next 3 years, he will pay approximately 12.7 tax rate between New York State and New York City. In November, they ran the numbers, and the short of it, he's going to pay an additional $13.6 million in taxes over the next 3 years. What did Bruce Arians say to Chase Young? Be careful what you ask for. You just might get it. But that, again, let me just say this. Let me just say this before I get all goofy on that. There's all kinds of ways to adjust your taxes, file your taxes, set up tax shelters, havens, legitimately, that can help alleviate some of that tax burden. So I think Harden will be fine. He's going to have to take some of that money and pay an accountant who is versed on New York tax laws as opposed to Houston, Texas tax laws, because we'll pay state tax here. Harden's going to be fine. He got what he wanted. And I believe deep down inside, the Rockets got what they were praying for. Because I told y'all, I said, all right. Everybody's like, oh, Harden this and Harden that, and it's Harden's team, and Harden can do what he want to do, and Harden this and Harden that. And I said, there's one man in the mix that when he gets fired up about it, it's gonna go his way, and not their way. And that was DeMarcus Boogie Cousins. And for the first time, DeMarcus had spoken out on record when he said the disrespect, he didn't say a name, but we knew from Harden, had begun long before that press conference after the Lakers lost the other night. He said the disrespect from Harden had begun long before that. Translation, I have had enough. I done had all I can stands because I can't stands no more. And this is just me now. I don't have any inside sources that said this. I don't have anybody that confirmed it. I just know what I saw when I was covering DeMarcus Cousins when he was a member of the Sacramento Kings. DeMarcus didn't do his talking in the media. By the time DeMarcus said something to the press, he had already said it to the ownership, the coaching staff, and the person. That's why I got respect for him, mad respect for him. DeMarcus is not one that's going to say something to other people that he has not already said to your face. So, that being said, I believe that DeMarcus said, yo, y'all better do something with your boy, or I'm gonna do something to your boy. I'm not trying to say nothing bad about old boy. I'm not trying to incite violence. I'm not trying to use inflammatory rhetoric. I'm just telling you what I believe happened. I believe DeMarcus said, yo, like if Tillman was on his way to the bathroom or the employee lounge or the cafeteria or, you know, whatever they got over there at the Rockets facility, I ain't been that deep down into it. He probably said, yo, Mr. Fertitta, good to see you. DeMarcus, you better do something with your boy before I do something to him. I ain't feeling all this disrespect that's been going on long before he said what he said the other night. And Tillman probably said, already on it. Have a good day. See you tomorrow night. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, this guy right here don't play when it comes to that. And what kills me is a lot of people call him the cancer, and the reality is a lot of time he's trying to root out the cancer. What's crazy is after DeMarcus Cousins left Sacramento, was it a better place? It got to be a better place, but we found out that DeMarcus wasn't the problem. He wasn't the problem in New Orleans, and he certainly wasn't the problem in Golden State, and he wasn't the problem in LA. Bad organizations are bad organizations. And they're bad whether a guy like DeMarcus is there or not. I much more respect guys like DeMarcus than I do guys like Harden. Because DeMarcus is at least going to say it to your face. Harden waits till he gets in front of the media, and he's had all he can have. So what does he say? We're just not good enough. I love this city, but it can't be fixed. The Lakers are great. We're not even good. And it now makes sense when John Wall said we played like an AAU team. For those who follow the AAU circuit, what happens out at an AAU game? You got like 5 teams on the court on one team at one time. If you got 5 players on an AAU team, on some AAU team, it's like you got 5 different teams out there because every player out there is playing for themselves. Let me break it down a little deeper. I think that John Wall was saying, this cat is over here playing all by himself. He playing his own kind of game. When he feels like passing, he passes. When he don't feel like passing, he don't. When he wants to take a shot, he takes a shot. He's just doing whatever he wants to do. The guys have begun to speak up. And once they started speaking up, management, ownership decided we got to do something now. And oh yeah, by the way, DeMarcus said he finna do something to the man if we don't. So Harden's out of here. Harden got what he asked for. I believe the Rockets got what they've been praying for. We're going to have Kris Gardner on Houston Roundball Review. He's going to help make it all make sense. Because with the 4 first-round draft choices and the 4 first-round draft choice swaps, I ain't gonna lie. I'm not one of those announcers that's gonna come in and act like I know exactly what that means. That means this and be dead wrong. We're gonna find out what that means from Chris Gardner when he comes on here in just a minute. And then we gotta talk about Urban Aloysius Meyer. That dude, I don't know who your agent is, Urban, but I need to holler at him. Am I on the level where I can just be down with your agent? I mean, seriously. This dude, like, literally gets run out of Ohio State. Like, Urban, you got to go. What do you want to do? Do you want to retire, or do you want us to say we fired you? Because this ain't looking good right now. They said, I'll just retire. Okay. Urban Meyer has stepped down from the Ohio State University with a record of like a gazillion and 3. The dude wins. You can say what you want about it. The dude wins a gazillion and 3, plus a national championship. We wish Urban well. We love him. He gets a smooth, straight, cushy job at Fox as an analyst. And now he is the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I got to tell you, that Jacksonville job ain't a bad gig because they got money. They got draft picks. It's in Florida. Oh, yeah, he just happens to own a house in Jacksonville. I mean, it ain't like college where he's got to go to, some rural town and sit at somebody's kitchen table and try and talk somebody's mother and father into letting your child come to our school. Now he just sits in his house and watches tape and film and collects checks. He can ride that wave for at least 4 years. He can ride that wave for at least 4. Let me take a break. We'll be back with more right after this on the lunch break. It's Throwback Thursday.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like a gazillion dollars, and they didn't have a gazillion dollars. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they're able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less. 800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. That's 800-603-9359. Here's an important COVID-19 school system update for your local area. If you're concerned about your child's education, please pay close attention to this message. The current school systems were not set up for at-home learning. If you're worried that your child may not be getting the grades they need to get ahead, may be losing self-confidence, or you're worried about them getting into a good college because of their grades, help is available to you. Call Grade Potential Tutoring. They can help with in-home or online tutoring and help your child with any subject at every grade level, even for test prep. They're experts in the home tutoring and online tutoring field and confident they can help you and your child get better grades today. Call now for your free consultation. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. That's 800-580-7680. I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legend continues.
Man, I mean it. I am excited about today's show. 281-453-1000 if you want to get in. 281-453-1000. Keith Hennig, caller of the year from 2020, said, good luck, Urban. Hold on, I gotta pull it up. Good luck, Urban Meyer. You have a trash front office to work with. And I took a sip of my chai tea latte, venti, mind you, with a shot of espresso and an extra shot of vanilla. And I got it from the Bucks, but it's because, they put the Black Lives Matter cups out. I'm only doing business with them because they love us. At least they say they do. And Urban Meyer's just sipping his coffee like, I ain't worried about that. Urban Meyer is like the front office, the back office, the side. Urban Meyer can come into a place and run it. Do you hear me? I mean, run it. Like, you can act like you ain't on board and, okay. All right. I think he's got the ear of Chad Khan. I really do. Shad Khan. I'm sorry. I don't know who Chad is, but Shad. I really do. I think he's going to be all right. I think he's going to flip the script on him up there. All right. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who this?
Hey, Jay, it's Todd.
Todd.
Oh, here's what Urban is getting that Nick Saban didn't get with the Dolphins. So when Nick Saban went to the Dolphins, he was handcuffed with the GM that was giving him players that he didn't want, okay? Urban's going to walk into a situation, in my opinion, without even knowing any details, where the owner is saying, hey, we're going to give you the Bill Belichick treatment, even though you haven't coached in the NFL, right? And at Alabama, Nick Saban runs everything in the athletic department. And that will be the same way in Jacksonville. Whether it works or not with that approach with Urban, I don't think Urban Meyer's dictator approach that he treats players in college, where he strong arms them, will work in the NFL unless he comes up with a little bit less brash approach, because I don't think that works with professionals. That makes sense.
Yeah, one thing I'll say about Urban Meyer has been able to adapt wherever he's gone. I think Urban's going to be fine. I also think you're right. And not so much giving him what Nick Saban didn't have in Miami, because, Nick Saban and somebody tried to paint it on another show as if it was not a failure in Miami. It was a failure in Miami, and it was a failure on Nick Saban's part. Now, he evolved into a better coach in the college ranks, but he failed, and we're not going to rewrite history. If they just give Urban Meyer a fraction of what they gave Tom Coughlin, and I know he's not coming in to be the vice president of football operations, but give him the right to pick his staff, give him the ability to have a say in who they draft and who they pick and what have you, because Urban Meyer can take talent and make it work.
I mean, Urban Meyer is going to be picking the cafeteria food menu for the building.
I agree. That's why I said I don't think he's going to have the problems with the front office that, what was the former coach? He gone already. I can't even remember his name. What was his name?
Marone.
Doug was just trying to get in the building and get out when it was time to go home.
So I think that's the difference is when you're Jacksonville, you're trying to get an Urban Meyer. Jacksonville really is not in the position of power. Urban is, right? So Urban is dictating the terms of like, this is what I need, which is going to be the position of power. Like when they were talking about when Texas was talking to Urban, there was information that was being leaked out of what Urban would need to take the job. He was wanting like new practice fields built, all sorts of stuff, right? So it'll be the same way. He's not taking a job where he's not choosing the players, and where like some of these jobs in the NFL, will be like they'll say, AJ, you can be the head coach, but you got to keep this OC and the defensive coordinator.
Right.
They're not like the Mike McCarthy, right?
Right.
Like, okay, we'll give you the job, but you got to keep Kellen Moore.
Yep.
Right? Like, huh?
Yeah.
So he's going to get the Bill Belichick treatment. We're going to give you the keys. You can do whatever you want, and let's see how it works.
I mean, Jacksonville has nothing to lose from this move right here. Nothing at all. They've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, I mean, they're already not a good team, right? So it's not like he's being handed the keys to a Super Bowl dynasty, right?
Right.
Run it around.
And even if he doesn't work out for the first 2 years of Trevor Lawrence or whoever they take in the first round, first pick, they got multiple years of that left without him if it doesn't work out. So I think it's a good move. I think we're going to see good stuff for it. Todd, stay right there. I got to take a quick break. I'll be right back with more right after this. It's Throwback Thursday right here on the lunch break. This segment brought to you by OMG Tires and More and others right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
19 school system update for your local area. If you're concerned about your child's education, please pay close attention to this message. The current school systems were not set up for at-home learning. If you're worried that your child may not be getting the grades they need to get ahead, may be losing self-confidence, or you're worried about them getting into a good college because of their grades, help is available to you. Call Grade Potential Tutoring. They can help with in-home or online tutoring and help your child with any subject at every grade level, even for test prep. They're experts in the home tutoring and online tutoring field and confident they can help you and your child get better grades today. Call now for your free consultation. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. That's 800-580-7680.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM. The legendary KYOK 92.3 FM. Two radio stations in one.
I'm Larry Scott, host of the Not So Christian and Me Show. Join me Saturdays for great fun, interviews, music, and the latest news surrounding our world today. We are the show that cares to hear your voice and opinion with real conversation in a no judgment zone. So join me Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. on the Not So Christian and Me Show right here on the legendary KYOK Radio 1140 AM and the all-new 92.3 FM and KYOKradio.org.
Hi, I'm Linda J. I recently purchased 4 new tires from OMG Tires and More, located at 3124 Tidwell between 59 and Jensen. TK got me in and out in less than 30 minutes. While there, I got my car washed. Do you need rims for your car? OMG has them too. OMG Tires and More is your one-stop shop for all your tire needs. So give them a call at 832-767-3211. That's 832-767-3211. Conveniently located at 3124 Tidwell between 59 and Jensen on the north side.
Now let's get back to the lunch break with AJ on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
Urban Meyer got me dancing in here in the studio. James Harden was going to have my head hurting, but Urban Meyer, I don't know why that news just made me happy. It ain't like me and Urban are boys. It ain't like we kick it with each other or what have you. But the Urban Meyer news in the middle of the James Harden news just was good news to me. That James Harden mess was just, it had my head hurt. I felt bad for Stephen Silas. I felt bad for John Wall. I felt bad for James Harden because of Boogie Cousins. But, you know what I mean? It's like James Harden was making it bad for everybody. I mean, seriously, dude. That's where I am with it, Todd. What's your thought?
That's what we were talking about yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny that the trade went down yesterday because I think our stance was you can't proceed after that game. And I think Boogie Cousins put it really well in that interview he had. I don't know if it was after the game or a practice that I watched yesterday. And Boogie Cousins, I'm paraphrasing, he goes, the disrespect had been going on, prior to the Lakers game, right?
Yep.
He goes, it's been going on. He goes, from in practice to the way he showed up to camp. And Boogie Cousins laid out everything. And that was my point yesterday. But Boogie did a better job because he's actually in the building and I'm not, is that, dude, I know you want out. We know you want out. But, man, while you're here trying to work that out through your agent or whoever, your representatives, can you at least conduct yourself, somewhat professional without just being so blatant about it? And that's why I loved how Boogie could, break it down much better, because he's actually in the building, that I'm not. And I think the Lakers game was that final straw.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. And that's why I said Boogie, DeMarcus, DeMarcus didn't say anything to us that he hadn't already said to James and somebody else. Ain't no doubt in my mind, because that's just who he is. He did it in Sacramento a lot. He didn't have to do it anywhere else. And I believe that it was like, okay, all right, I'm telling y'all better do something with old boy, because this right here ain't gonna work. And he might be on his last shot. He might be on his last shot. No way in the world he was gonna let James Harden mess that up.
Yeah. I mean, So now let's fast forward. Now I think there's the move the Nets are gonna make. I think Kyrie's days in Brooklyn are done.
Man, I hope that ain't so. I really do. I really hope.
Let me tell you why, AJ.
Oh, go ahead.
If Kyrie was on his, let's just say, quote unquote, best behavior, right? I'm not saying he's misbehaving or not, but there's issues there, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they'd make this move right now. But I think what prompted it, where Brooklyn was okay with doing it, is because they sense there's a problem there, right? And they said, you know what? We're not sure if this Kyrie thing is going to work with KD. So can we swap it out and go get James with KD? And they played together before, back in their OKC days. But by doing that, it's going to deplete our whole bench. The bench now for the Nets is absolutely garbage. But you can replenish that bench if you then move Kyrie to a team, right? So let me give you an example. Let's say the Nets GM calls Pat Riley today and say, hey, we're willing to move Kyrie. Then you'd be partnering up Jimmy Butler with Kyrie in Miami, right? And the Nets say, we want Tyler Hero, we want Duncan Robinson, and let's say another bench player. You put those guys, coming off the bench to help James and KD, you may have something. But there's got to be another move the Nets have up their sleeve, because right now that bench is the worst in the league.
I hear you. I just hope it ain't at the expense of Kyrie.
Well, here's the thing with Kyrie. What is Kyrie doing? Like, I'm completely lost, because to me, if Kyrie is fitting in well there, to me, the two superstar model like the Lakers have and the Nets had put together with a good bench, because losing Jared Allen is a good player. Losing LeVert and all those guys they lost off the bench are losses. You need a bench. The Lakers had a great model. Two superstars, deep bench, right?
Yeah, you're right.
You have three max guys. Your bench is destroyed. So I really don't think they did this unless internally they're like, man, we got some serious concerns, about Kyrie.
So let me throw out a different perspective.
Okay.
I've been saying for a while, there's a couple of guys that operate to a whole different rhythm. A couple of guys just not going to be basketball and nothing else. Jimmy Butler was all about basketball in the bubble. All about basketball in the bubble. Kyrie, Kawhi Leonard, guys like that, they are on a whole different wavelength. Like, basketball is what I do, but basketball ain't who I am. So when the Spurs were all trying to, force Kawhi Leonard into coming back too soon, and he didn't feel like his body was right, he was like, man, forget y'all. I'm not doing it. To the point where a really good thing went bad. Not because Kawhi Leonard made it go bad, but because he wouldn't do it basketball or nothing their way. Kyrie Irving is that guy. Kyrie Irving cares about black ownership. Kyrie Irving cares about, just black lives. He cares about his culture. He cares about things that matter to him. And I'm going to tell you, I believe that what happened a couple of Wednesdays ago affected Kyrie in a whole different way. Plus, given that the very reason that they almost didn't play the shooting up in Kenosha,
Right.
those officers don't even have to worry about it. They don't even have to worry. Is somebody going to bring a charge again? Could we possibly be found guilty? They don't have to worry about it because they say we will not bring charges.
Okay.
So Kyrie is the guy that's not going to be, oh, okay, well, no problem. Business as usual. Kyrie is like, man, this is exactly what I was talking about. And look at what happened on Wednesday. And nothing is literally being done. You got people trying to justify that. Like, oh, it's no big deal. If you had arrested Black Lives Matter and Antifa, we wouldn't be doing this. Kyrie is that guy that, man, something's got to change. And if nothing will change, I'll change.
All right, so let me break that up if you don't mind, okay? Right. I'm with you. I'm 100%. I have no problem with any stance he's taking on any of those things he listed, right? But I'm going to steal a quote from Stephen A. if I can. Why can't he do both? You're under contract to play basketball for the Nets, right? The Nets are saying you can't have these other interests off the court or things you're passionate about, right? So why can't he do what LeBron does? Because LeBron is very passionate about some of those same things, right?
I got you, Todd. Let me give you a simple answer.
Okay.
Because he's not Stephen A. He's not LeBron. He's not you, and he's not me. That's why. I mean, again, people are allowed to do it their way. You've had guys and young ladies that have walked away from their contracts, that have walked away from those parts of their careers and said, I am going to do this. And if that's what Kyrie decides to do, I won't be mad at him, but he is still one of the top 20 players in the NBA. So if he decides to take some time off and recalibrate and kind of, refigure out what he wants to do and how he wants to do it and how he does those things that Stephen A. Smith says, why can't he do both? That's between him and the Nets.
All right, so let's piggyback it a little bit more, right? So he's taking this time off. He's taking time off for personal reason. And let's say it's for all these things we've just mentioned, right?
Yeah.
He's still getting paid at this time, right? By the Nets to play basketball, which he's not playing, right?
But Todd, come on now. Todd.
I'm just
Todd, we take days off and still get paid. I mean, that's not crazy.
Right, but this is where the Nets' concern is, right? We got a guy we respect. You know my heart, AJ. We respect everything he's doing. We appreciate that, right? But we still need him here, We still need him here. And I don't think the Nets are wrong for saying, hey, everything he's doing off the court, we're behind that.
Right.
We still need him here.
I agree. I agree with you. I agree with you. And at some point, they've got to continue to manage their business. And I think bringing in James Harden does a couple of things. It buys them time to decide what they want to do with Kyrie. And it puts them in a very good position to do what they haven't done in my lifetime, and that's win a championship. Have they won one in my lifetime? I don't know. But, I mean, to win a championship. So, again, while you, me, and the media feel like they got to do something now. They can't let this happen. They got to do this. They got to do that. They really don't. They really have bought themselves some time because now they still got a big two. And like you said, they fill in some blanks on the bench, and they're no worse to wear.
Yeah. In Kyrie, to be honest with you, I don't know him as in depth. I've just heard from people that he's a very deep guy and he has a lot of interest off the court. But I don't know him as well as I do a LeBron, because LeBron is more outspoken,
right,
of stuff he's interested in.
Right.
Kyrie is more quiet and reserved. The stuff he's doing off the court, he's not as vocal, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah. But see, again, Todd, before our, not so much before our time, but before our time, you had guys like Jim Brown.
Yep.
Who, man, they absolutely was one of the beasts in football. And Jim just said enough is enough. Jim was like, hey, man, y'all still shooting people out in the street. I can't still sit at counters and do stuff like that. I think I'm going to sit this one out. You know, you had other guys that were the same way, man. You had other young ladies that were the same way. And that mentality is in some way the same with some people here in this generation, but they just do it differently.
You know, here's what's crazy about the media, and I think you can appreciate that for being in the media, right? I'm looking at 3 different articles from name brand media outlets, if you will, right?
Yep.
Check this out. I'm going to give you 3 headlines.
Okay.
One says, Kyrie Irving runs the risk of Nets voiding his contract. One says, Kyrie Irving reportedly willing to sit out the rest of the season. And then one says, Nets GM Sean Marks, Kyrie Irving is excited to return to the team. So 3 completely different takes, right?
Yep.
And all 3 could happen, right?
Right.
Theoretically, I could, from what you just eloquently put about him, I could see him sitting out the season, right, to focus on those things you talked about.
Yep.
That what happened a couple weeks ago was a breaking point for him.
Yep.
And I also could see him talking to Sean Marks and saying, hey, this big 3, we could be like Steph, Clay, and KD in Golden State, right?
Yep.
Because that could have been. Remember when the Warriors had that big 3 on the perimeter?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That could work too. And
right.
then I could see the other one, which I think is the less likely about the Nets. I could only see that as if it got contentious over time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Nets are even close to that point yet, but it's interesting how the media has these different reports, all 3 name brand media outlets, and they're all completely different on what the take is.
Right.
So now I'm glad you put that up about Kyrie, because I don't know him as well enough, just because he's not, you know, on Instagram Live, you know. He's in my opinion, just from watching him, he's more quiet of what he's doing behind the scenes.
Yeah. Todd, there was an old saying back in the day that the revolution will not be televised. In other words, just what you're seeing is one thing, but what we're actually doing is something totally different. Kyrie's one of them cats. Andre Johnson was one of those cats. If the media did not follow Andre Johnson around, and, you know, do the things when he would do the shopping with the kids from CPS and that kind of stuff, he never would have said a word.
So let's talk about the trio if it did work, right?
Yeah.
Do you think James, Kyrie, KD all can shoot threes? I mean, could that be like the Golden State back in the day of the Northeast, of the East?
It could be. I mean, because as you were saying that, I was thinking, so the Splash Brothers were Steph and Clay, and Draymond was just the captain. I mean, he was the one that had the ship going. And that's exactly what they could be. They could be Splash Brothers with James and Kyrie, and Kevin Durant could be the one that makes the ship go. So I'm telling you, man, if they fill out that bench, if they fill out that side, because a lot of people don't understand that Golden State was stronger on their bench. Their bench was what put teams away. You know, the starting 5 was phenomenal, but that bench didn't give anybody else a break. And, you know, to duplicate that, you gotta have that bench that can do that.
What was their motto? Strength in numbers, and like their first couple title runs.
Yeah,
and you're right there. Barbosa off the bench, right? Livingston. They had a whole bunch of dudes they were running at you, and that's why I like the 2 superstar model better. Is because you have enough money left where you can have a nice bench. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you're right. They did have a lot of those guys under manageable contracts. Todd, I got to hit this break. You want to hang on or you?
I'll let you go. I'll keep listening, okay?
All right. Thanks, Todd. We'll be right back right after this.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they're able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less. 800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. That's 800-603-9359.
Hello, my name is Margaret, and I'm not a paid actor. I'm simply a very satisfied customer that has received good advice from the care team insurance. Without the help from the care team, we would not have had health insurance. The care team has saved my daughter's life.
This is one of the many great results of Care Team's efforts. Don't get caught with bad or no insurance at all. Let Care Team assist you with our free enrollment assistance program. Call now, 281-990-1377. There are over 13 million people without medical insurance that should qualify for plans starting at $0 to $50 per month. Care Team has helped thousands of people just like you. This is AJ Jones, and KYOK listeners, I want you to call now and see what you qualify for at 281-990-1377. That's 281-990-1377, or visit careteamcares.com. All right, y'all. We're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I got a ton of comments about James Harden and the Rockets. Ton of comments about James Harden and the Rockets. Let me see if I can get to some of these. Y'all stay right there. Hang on. There's so many. Good Lord. Okay, here we go. All right, so AJ, James Harden was fun to watch, but glad he's gone. I think a lot of people feel that way. I think a lot of people feel like this was a breakup that needed to happen. And I get that a lot of the fan base at one point or another either absolutely loved Harden or didn't. In fact, let me get to another one of these. AJ, I was ready for him to be gone after that Spurs series a few years ago where he just literally quit on the team. High caliber athletes don't do that. Guys with good skill but no character do. I'm not going to attack his character. I don't know James like that, but I will say that was a defining moment in his career here in Houston. And I don't know what folks were comparing that to. Were they comparing that to Olajuwon? Were they comparing that to McGrady? I mean, maybe they were crossing sports and comparing that to JJ Watt or whatever. I don't feel like Harden quit. In fact, I came on and said that I felt like that was more on D'Antoni because he didn't go as deep into his bench in the playoffs as he could or should. And guys are just tired. I mean, James Harden is not a cyborg. He can't just go forever and ever and ever. And oh yeah, by the way, playing at that level of the sport, even the best of the best get tired. Remember when LeBron used to get cramps? I mean, there were times when Jordan was seen just drenched, like had nothing left. Harden's not inhuman. And again, I put that on coaches that don't know how to balance their minutes, even in the playoffs. Let me go to the phone line. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this?
What's up, AJ? It's Longhorn Keith, man.
Hey, brother, how you doing? Did you get my inbox?
I did. Thank you so much,
Okay.
bro. Thank you. Yeah,
No problem.
That. Hey, man, I want to just kind of piggyback off of what you were talking about in regards to James Harden. Right. So I am convinced more than ever that James Harden is obviously a different breed, but he is marching to the beat of a different drum, man, and that's okay. But I think, and I say that because I think when we put expectations on people because of we have the same skin tone, it doesn't mean that we're brothers. You understand what I mean?
Yep.
Everything that's black ain't black. And let me just say the reason why I say that. I listened to you and I were talking yesterday, and I listened to the interview afterwards with Coach Silas. And I heard him say something very distinctive. While everybody else was playing Boogie's comments, which was great, by the way, and John Wall's comments, some of the best comments were with Coach Silas, and he was trying to be as professional as he could be. And he said, as a part of the interview process, and I'm paraphrasing here, James and I had several discussions. He was very professional with me. And then, and Coach Silas was basically saying, I'm trying to still figure this out without trying to say it. Where did this go wrong that this brother felt like I came on board and he had to do what he's doing? If you did not want him as your coach, and you did not want to be as the Texans are trying to do or promised to do with Deshaun Watson, and to have him as an integral part of the interview process, you should have been a man about that and told the organization, no, I'm good. You got rid of my GM, you got rid of my coach, I'm out. I want out. But you waited until this brother comes on and he talked to you and you did this to him. I have zero respect for James Harden for that reason. No other reason but for that right there. Here's the reason why that hurts me so bad. And I'm pretty sure you can relate. Brother, I have sat in on meetings with people who didn't look like me, who gave me opportunities. But the one person who was in my organization who caused the most hell for me looked like me. And I'm telling you, it drives me insane that we have these types of discord amongst and listen, again, I understand it's professional basketball. He has talents that you and I could never dream of. And God bless him for that. But it's just the professional decorum in which you go about doing things. You can't do that and expect that people are gonna be okay with that. The last thing I'll say about James Harden, to prove or just to highlight my point about everything that's black is not for black. I remember during the whole Black Lives Matter movement, James Harden showed up with a Blue Lives Matter mask on. Do you remember that?
Yep, I do.
And they asked him, and he pretended like he didn't realize or just it wasn't nothing against Black Lives Matter. And listen, man, he has a right to his opinion. I'm not taking that away from him. And I'm not saying that he has to be all Black Lives Matter. But what I am saying is, don't expect to act like OJ and then come running back to us to rescue you. It ain't gonna happen, brother.
Yeah, no, I don't agree with. I don't disagree with anything that you said, especially the part about sometimes the people that give us the most problems are those that look most like us. And I could go in on where that comes from. Hashtag Willie Lynch letters.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, because let me tell you something. That theology, that mentality, that battle strategy was one of the best ever created. Like that thing, that man dead times dead. And that thing is still working. And I ain't giving him no love. I promise you that. I'm just saying that diabolical fiend was diabolical because that thing is still alive and well. That being said, Russell Westbrook went to bat for Stephen Silas. James Harden signed off on him. So it was almost like they told James, we're going to have Stephen Silas be our new head coach. We just want you to meet with him and, get comfortable with him and tell us what you think. Because Russell Westbrook went to bat for him. Russell Westbrook did what he had to do to get him the job. And Silas said that in his initial press conference. He said, I wouldn't have this job if it wasn't for Russell Westbrook. He didn't say, I wouldn't have this job if it wasn't for Russell Westbrook and James Harden.
Yes, sir.
That was telling. So, to me, first law of nature is what? Self-preservation.
Yes,
when James Harden got his feelings hurt, when James Harden got in his mind, he wanted out. Hey, bro, James Harden threw everybody under the bus. Look, Stephen Silas, your daddy, Russell Westbrook, his mama, James Harden was chucking him under the bus.
Yeah,
So, finally, Tillman Fertitta said enough is enough. And I really believe that last press conference with after the Lakers game was the final straw, but Boogie wasn't lying. DeMarcus wasn't lying when he said the disrespect had started long before then. John Wall was like, hey, we played like an AAU team. That wasn't at everybody. That was not at everybody. That was at somebody. So I believe it was a lot worse than we thought behind those doors, and I give Stephen Silas a lot of credit because he didn't let that thing get as bad as it could have been. And I really think you're going to see them, even if they're shorthanded tonight, which I expect they will be, you're going to see them play with a different atmosphere. Kind of like before James got out of COVID protocol at the beginning of the year, they looked real good. Everybody's like, oh man, this Rocket team's going to be fun to watch. I think you're going to see some of that tonight.
Yeah, and my last point, and I agree with you on that. My last point I'll make is my plea is to Tillman Fertitta and to the Rockets organization. Knowing what you know now and knowing what Coach Silas had to deal with, do not give this brother no 2-year leash on life and say that you gave a black coach an opportunity. Because knowing what you know, he deserves a right for them to develop or draft those number 1 picks that they're going to get. And they're going to be low depending on how Jersey finishes or Brooklyn finishes. But at the end of the day, give this brother an opportunity the same way you would give any other coach who, if it had not been for a selfish individual who wanted out after you brought this coach on, he could have made something out of it. But give him an opportunity the same way you would give someone else.
Let me just say this, man, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Bad people can do some good things. Tillman Fertitta ain't our friend. He ain't our friend. Tillman Fertitta is the owner of the Houston Rockets and the restaurants and the hotels, and he ain't our friend. So watch this. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. Jim Crane had lawsuits against him for his dealing with black folks. You know what he did? First chance he got, went out and got a black head coach. Got the black head coach.
Yep.
And nobody on the mountain top higher than Dusty Baker in that sport.
Yeah.
Now, what does that do? That takes the pressure off from the cheating scandal. That takes a little pressure off from the lawsuits. All of that is completely different. So all I'm saying is, don't be surprised what Tillman Fertitta does. It may be even at the end of this season or next.
Man, I hope not.
I hope not either. But I mean, just everybody rocking you and nursing you ain't your mama, bro. I'm just, you know.
Preach, man. Listen, I'm with you. I just hope he does it, man. Because here's my selfish reason why, and I'll leave you on this. I love Papa Do's, and I don't want to boycott.
Let me mess you up. You still going to Papa Do's?
Even when they raised the rates on me, brother, I said, man, I thought crawfish etouffee used to be $26. No, the girl came back. No, we raised the prices again. I said, I'll be doggone.
Listen, man, you are financing Tillman Fertitta's payday loan for billionaires, bro. I'm going to get in your inbox again after the show. I'm going to turn you on to a couple other spots, man. I'm going to help you, Longhorn Keith. You ain't alone, bro.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
All right, y'all. Take care, brother. We'll talk to you soon. Longhorn Keith, always a good call, man. Listen, for the price of a cup of coffee, you can help Longhorn Keith find another culturally friendly seafood restaurant, all right? So y'all send him some suggestions. I ain't do you like that, bro. I ain't do you like that. Listen, we got a lot of comments about James Harden. We'll get to some of those. And I let Ty go too soon. I hate that I had to let him go at that break because I have a question about the Urban Meyer thing. How does it feel that Urban Meyer was like, yeah, I can't coach y'all. My health is bad. I can't give y'all 100%. But as soon as Jacksonville called, oh, yeah, I can do that. How does it feel to be rejected by one and celebrate it somewhere else? I'm just curious. UT fans only. Do y'all got some hate on James? I'm in on Urban Meyer right now. What's the deal? Y'all let me know. 281-453-1000. All right, let me go ahead and get Sybil Wilkes on with her COVID update. We will get to all of your James Harden comments after this in the second hour on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
The U.S. hit another one-day high Tuesday of coronavirus deaths at over 4,300. Ohio researchers announced they've discovered 2 new variants of the coronavirus that likely originated in this country. The U.S. strains appear to make COVID-19 more contagious, but do not seem like they will diminish the effectiveness of the vaccines. The U.S. House of Representatives began working early this morning, moving to impeach Donald Trump for a historic second time. That's expected by day's end. The single charge accuses the president of inciting an insurrection, which led to last week's violent attack. The inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris is 1 week from today. Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser and the governors of Maryland and Virginia joined together in asking Americans to stay away from the nation's capital and participate in the presidential inauguration virtually. Please visit SybilWilkes.com to subscribe to my free daily newsletter. Be informed, be empowered.
The lunch break, where sports are the special of the day on the legendary KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It's Throwback Thursday, and Todd, you funny. Todd is like the dude that, and y'all, Todd has been happily married to his high school sweetheart forever. He ain't going nowhere. She ain't going nowhere. They made for each other. But Todd is like the dude that before he met Amber, the head cheerleader broke up with him, and he said, she ain't break up with me, I quit her. Todd said Urban Meyer didn't reject the Longhorns. He just chose the NFL over college. Todd. Okay, Todd. Okay. I see what you're saying. Keith Hennig said Urban was a smart man, smart enough to choose pass on UT. The boosters and athletic department are trash. That's an honest take right there. All right, let me get out of the way. Let me get this first hour in the book, second hour underway.
The legendary 1140 AM KYOK Conroe 92.3 FM K222CX Houston.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are
She didn't quit me, I quit her.
Hosts, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
That's funny. That's what I want.
When you walk out on that field today, ask yourself this question.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We made it!
When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Ball is getting hit. That's it.
It's gonna be football now! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's hunt now! Let's hunt! We made it! Let's go to the house!
We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up with chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from him. He's a man, and you need hits just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's who I did.
I know.
When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. You had no work in my world.
What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Cleveland. Let's go to the house. Let's go to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
All right, this game is not over. First hour on the books, second hour underway here on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It's our Throwback Thursday. We should be joined by Kris Gardner from Houston Roundball Review in just a little bit. I know there was a press conference with the Rockets, so I'm sure he's on that, and definitely need him to come on in here and make this James Harden trade make sense. For those who do not know, the Rockets agreed to trade three-time All-Star James Harden and one-time league MVP to the Brooklyn Nets. And in return, I hate these long articles that just don't get right to the point. Just get right to the point. But anyway, the Rockets got Caris LeVert, and they also got Dante Exum and another player. And then they got 4 first-round picks and 4 first-round pick swaps, future years. And then they took Caris LeVert and traded him to the Indiana Pacers for Victor Oladipo. And Victor Oladipo averaging 20 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists for the Pacers coming to Houston. So in essence, the Rockets lineup will look like John Wall, Victor Oladipo. I don't know. Pick somebody at the 3 spot. Maybe Daniel House at the 3. David Nwaba at the 3, and then PJ Tucker and Christian Wood. That's basically what the Rockets are working with. And then coming off the bench will be Dante Exum and the other guy that I can't name his name, if he even makes the team. That's it. That's the deal. The value in the deal are those 4 first-round draft picks and those 4 first-round draft pick swaps. That's where the value in the deal is. Everybody's like, oh, no, I can't believe we gave up James Harden for Caris LeVert. Well, you would have loved Caris LeVert, first of all. You would have loved him because he's a player. Is he on the same level as Harden? No, he's not. And, in fact, there are very few people that are. But the value in the deal was the draft picks and some players. Dante Exum is a very good sub. He's a very good guy who can come in and play. Very good sub. And Victor Oladipo, who they got in a trade by sending Caris LeVert to the Pacers, is a couple of years removed from being an all-star. I mean, dude can play. He's not going to take over a game like James Harden, but the dude can play. Now, health is an issue, and the Rockets got a bunch of guys that if they stay healthy, they'll be all right. But don't get it twisted. The Rockets either wanted a player on the same caliber as James Harden or a young up-and-coming player, like a Ja Morant or somebody like that. They wanted a young star, or they wanted picks. They settled for picks to get Harden out of Houston. So Houston fans, whether you want to hear it or not, your team is officially rebuilding. Because you're not going to see the value of this trade until all of those first round picks that go on for the next 4 years or so are exhausted. Who will they get for those picks? Or what will they get for those picks? Because a lot of times, just like Brooklyn did, they traded those picks away for James Harden. Maybe there's a free agent that's coming up in the near future that 4 first round or 3 first round or a couple of first rounds and some first round swaps can get in Houston. Now they have options. Now they have possibilities. And I got to give the Rockets front office some credit. They went from having no flexibility because of the contracts of Russell Westbrook and James Harden to having no Russell Westbrook or James Harden and tons of flexibility. So they can draft their next superstar, or they can package up some picks and some players and get their next superstar or star. Because they ain't but a few superstars out there. That's the deal. That's the landscape, Rocket fans. That's it. That's what you got back to get rid of James Harden. And I'm going to do some surgery right now. I'm going to do surgery and sever the ties between James Harden and Russell Westbrook, because the two of them are not the same, and they didn't leave the same way or for the same reasons. I am severing the ties between them. So it's not, Harden and Westbrook. No, it's not. Westbrook said what he said, wanted out, had concerns about the front office, but according, same line of thinking as Longhorn Keith, he did not in any way damage the image, the reputation, the thoughts, or the feelings about Stephen Silas. He didn't poo-poo on him to get out of here. Westbrook said, I want out. And guess what? They got him out. He didn't disrespect the organization. In fact, you had a lot of people on social media blaming him for the failure of the Rockets this past season, and that wasn't true. I'm sorry. It's not the truth. I don't care how bad he shot. I don't care how unhealthy he was. He was not the problem with the Houston Rockets this past season. He wasn't. And to blame him is crazy. And by the way, he's only averaging a triple-double again in Washington. He's hurt. They haven't won games. But he's doing what he could have done here if someone had held James Harden accountable and said, yo, bro, you're going to the 2, Russ is going to run the 1, and we're going to run it like that. We got him, y'all. We got him. We got him. We got the one who's going to come in and make all of this make sense. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to some and introduce to others the man that found it and started. The Houston Roundball Review.
I have respect for guys.
He's got respect for people.
At no point in my career will I ever back down.
But he ain't backing down from nobody.
Back down. I have respect for guys. But I will never apologize.
I don't think I've ever heard him apologize.
I don't.
But I do. When warranted.
He's making plays his way. Never tried to make people mad or look bad. But sometimes things happen. Here it is. He's dunking on everybody in the business. It is none other than Kris Gardner from Houston Roundball Review, joining us here on the lunch break on Throwback Thursday like he has been doing for a little while. What's up, Kris? What's happening, bro?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Man, yesterday I didn't know how to feel. Today, I feel like, although I'm not sure exactly what happened or why, I feel a little relief. I feel a little bit of a relief. Tell me Am I wrong? Am I crazy? What's up?
No, I think it's everybody feels relief. As Eric said, just within the last hour and change, he could tell that James didn't want to be here. I think that cloud was hanging over the team for a few weeks now. So it's done now. The team can move forward. The organization can move forward. They got draft picks, or they got some assets, and now they can move forward. And everybody can just focus on this season and hopefully no longer have COVID issues, things like that. Yeah, they're good to go.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I
do your business, man. That's all. No problem. Yeah, do your business.
And I had to do that. So I agree with what you said, because what I said was James Harden got what he asked for.
Yes.
And the team got what they were praying for. And I believe
not quite. They got the draft picks. I'm not sure they got the superstar elite talent that they wanted.
And that's what I wanted you on here, because like I said, I'm not going to be the guy who's going to act like I understand how the draft pick swaps work, because I'm not sure if I get that part. But before you came on, I just said, folks, what the Rockets got from this deal were the draft picks. They didn't get their player for player like James Harden. They didn't get their young up and coming superstar. What they got were some players and the draft picks. The draft picks were the haul, or the value from this draft, from this trade.
8 first-round picks, man. I mean, they're getting 4 from Brooklyn. Well, 1 from Milwaukee via Cleveland, and then other 7 from Brooklyn, 3 straight up, and then they're going to swap first-round picks. And basically that'll be whoever has the worst pick of the 2 will go to that team. So if the Rockets finish higher, then, which they probably will for a few years, let's be real, they'll have a better record. They have a worse record than the Nets, so then they'll get the pick. They'll keep their pick. If the Nets somehow start having worse records, and then that pick, they'll switch it out based on records, win-loss records after the end of that season.
Thank you for that, because that's what I was trying to understand. Draft swaps. So the team that has the better record will do what?
They will swap that pick.
Okay.
The team that has the worst record will lose the pick. That's how Boston ended up with the Nets pick being the 3rd pick in the draft.
Got you.
A few years ago.
Got you. All right, we got to take a quick break, Kris. When we come back, let's talk about it, man. Let's get in.
Let's do it.
All right, we'll be right back with Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review, right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. If you got questions, now's the time to ask. I'm not going to pontificate. We got the man who's in the building who knows. We'll be right back with Kris Gardner right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they're able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less. 800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. That's 800-603-9359. Here's an important COVID-19 school system update for your local area. If you're concerned about your child's education, please pay close attention to this message. The current school systems were not set up for at-home learning. If you're worried that your child may not be getting the grades they need to get ahead, may be losing self-confidence, or you're worried about them getting into a good college because of their grades, help is available to you. Call Grade Potential Tutoring. They can help with in-home or online tutoring and help your child with any subject at every grade level, even for test prep. They're experts in the home tutoring and online tutoring field and confident they can help you and your child get better grades today. Call now for your free consultation. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. 800-580-7680. That's 800-580-7680.
KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legend continues.
You're listening to The Lunch Break with AJ on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. Also streaming live on KYOKradio.org. Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review, joining us on the show. And we're talking about the James Harden trade. Again, I was getting ready for my sports updates on one of our other stations, and my phone just went off, and it's like Harden just got traded. And I was like, wow. And then when I saw Karis LeVert, Dante Exum, and a guy who I'm not even going to try and say his name, and then those 4 first-round picks, and then the 4 first-round swaps, it's like, wow. And then before I even got on to do the update, it's like, oh, yeah, and the Rockets just traded Karis LeVert to Indiana for Victor Oladipo. So take us from there, Kris.
Well, I mean, I think I told you in my previous appearances on your show that it was inevitable. Karis LeVert was mentioned, and personally, I thought he'd been a good fit here.
That's what I said. I said that too.
But then the Rockets, they haven't announced it yet. What the Rockets have announced thus far today is a 3-team part of the deal. So right now, Karis LeVert is a Rocket.
Okay.
But it is expected that later on today, Karis LeVert will be dealt to the Pacers for Victor Oladipo, and that Oladipo will be a Rocket. Neither one of them going to play tonight versus the Spurs. And the Rockets, the game is going to be on TNT, a little earlier start. It's going to be a shell of the Rockets. No Eric Gordon, no John Wall. So the backcourt is going to be iffy. No Karis LeVert, none of the guys who've been dealt so far. So it's 8 or 9 Rockets going to be playing against the Spurs. And good luck to the broadcasters describing the action.
Man, I mean, okay. All right. I didn't think that any of the guys involved in the trade would be available tonight. Kind of hard to travel, get physical, and then get briefed on some kind of offense and or defense.
Well, the 48, you have 48 hours to pass your physicals to complete the trade before it's official. So, the offensive problem, the issue would not have been a big deal if they were cleared medically, and plus now COVID tests and things like that as well. Mm-hmm. Just say, okay, we're going to run basic sets and go do what you do, and then we'll work out the other stuff later on in practices down the line. But,
I thought that was the case. It's more terminology than it is, so this is our, for lack of a better word, pick and roll. We call it the da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that won't be the case tonight, because I don't think those guys will be in uniform. If they are, not uniform, they may be in their suits or street attire, but they will not be playing tonight. So it's just going to be what's there. Christian Wood, Ben McLemore, DeMarcus Cousins, Jae'Sean Tate, and others against the Spurs.
I still said that I felt like tonight, no matter who's available, I said they were going to be shorthanded. I didn't know they were going to be without Wall and Gordon. You're going to see a Rocket team playing with a lightness to them. Like there's just a weight lifted. How bad, in your knowledge, was it behind the scenes in that locker room and in that building?
It wasn't great. Kudos to the players presenting a brave face and putting a positive spin on it during the media sessions. But let's be real. They know what's going on behind the scenes. They see, as DeMarcus said it yesterday, for everybody to hear point blank. DeMarcus is different than Eric Gordon. DeMarcus took it differently. He felt disrespected by what James said about lack of talent, no talent on the squad.
Yeah.
Eric said today he didn't believe James meant it in a disrespectful way. Because Eric's known James longer than DeMarcus, whatever. That's a nice way to put it. But I can see where Boogie's coming from. And and DeMarcus said point blank, James, the disrespect started before the Lakers blowout post-game press conference where James said what he said about the talent isn't here. We're not good enough. DeMarcus went back to how James came to camp. So DeMarcus, he was straight up and real and brutally honest as you have known him before to be.
Yep.
So it was no shock to me. I was glad he said it. Yep. I think he said it for some of the guys on the team who probably want to say it but weren't asked to speak to the media. So now they can really, and we saw it during the game Sunday when Markieff Morris shoved, knocked Jay Sean Tate down, and Boogie was right there defending his teammate, pushing Markieff right back.
Right.
And after that game, Coach Silas said he was glad to see DeMarcus stand up for his teammates.
Yep.
So that's where they are. And it's going to be DeMarcus's team and John Wall's team going forward. Now we can question. Both of them have not, especially DeMarcus, don't have the greatest track records of being on-court leaders and things like that. But this is their team now, and they're going to make the best of it.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to start fresh, let's start fresh.
Yes.
We don't need to live under the memory of James Harden and pick somebody else. It's their team now. It's time for a changeover. It's time to clear out his or her clothes out of the closet and put your clothes in there, So let's take a quick break. We'll come back with Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball review right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
Legendary KYOK 1140 AM. The legendary KYOK 92.3 FM. Two radio stations in one.
I'm Larry Scott, host of the Not So Kristen and Me Show. Join me Saturdays for great fun, interviews, music, and the latest news surrounding our world today. We are the show that cares to hear your voice and opinion with real conversation in a no judgment zone. So join me Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. on the Not So Kristen and Me Show right here on the legendary KYOK Radio 1140 AM and the all-new 92.3 FM and KYOKradio.org.
Hi, I'm Linda J. I recently purchased 4 new tires from OMG Tires and More, located at 3124 Tidwell between 59 and Jensen. TK got me in and out in less than 30 minutes. While there, I got my car washed. Do you need brands for your car? OMG has them too. OMG Tires and More is your one-stop shop for all your tire needs. So give them a call at 832-767-3211. That's 832-767-3211. Conveniently located at 3124 Tidwell between 59 and Jensen on the north side.
Now let's get back to the lunch break with AJ on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. Let me get one of these comments in to us, Kris. DK says, Harden is gone. Let's stop talking about him and let's flow with the Rockets. A lot of folks kind of had that mentality. One person even took it all the way back to when the Rockets lost that game in San Antonio where they felt like Harden quit, like he gave up. And some folks were saying they were done with Harden back then. I honestly kind of put that one on D'Antoni because he just would not go deep into his bench in the playoffs. And even the best of us get tired. But there are a lot of folks that bought out on Harden a long time ago, and we're getting a lot of comments about that, like how they glad to see him gone, or they didn't like his body language, or the way he led the team. So what do you think the thoughts are going to be when Harden comes back? Is he going to be beloved, or is he going to get that Houston welcome?
I think it's 50-50 for everyone, every person who feels that way. Like DK's comments right there, there are folks who are dying, who are crying, who are not Nets fans because James is part of the Brooklyn Nets. And those fans can go ahead and do what they want. I'm Houston Roundball Review, and I have the local name, national perspective, but I cover the Rockets. So James Harden is not a part of the Rockets.
Yeah.
I always thought, I'm not sure if I mentioned this to you, but I kind of, when I saw the first half of the schedule announced by the NBA and noticed that the Rockets did not have a lot of national appearances during this first half, that told me something right there. But March 3rd on the schedule, ESPN, Houston Rockets, Brooklyn Nets. That's what it was when they first put it out. So when I saw it, I was like, I wonder. And lo and behold, here we go. James Harden is on the Nets, and the Rockets and the Nets will be playing on ESPN on March 3rd. So the NBA knew, they kind of knew what was going on, And DeMarcus said yesterday also, one of his reasons for coming to the Rockets was to be a teammate again with John Wall.
Mm-hmm.
So He said nothing else about James Harden. But when he said he wanted to be with John Wall again, I was like, well, when did the Rockets trade Russ? And when did Marcus agree to term and things like that? So, players talking. I mean, I think it's coming around more and more that Kyrie, James, and KD talked to each other, a month or two ago when they're hooping out in LA about joining up. Players talk. Yeah. It's not a shock. And they can say right now, yes, we know that each of us is going to have to sacrifice. We understand that. Okay, y'all say that. Let's see you get it done on the floor. First, of course, Kyrie has to come back.
I was going to ask, what's the latest hearing on that? We talked about that at length in the first hour as well.
It's just Kyrie being Kyrie. Yeah. The Nets say supposedly they have spoken to Kyrie, but they've heard from him, and Kyrie is excited to rejoin the team. They didn't say when Kyrie is going to rejoin the team, but he's coming back eventually, and then Kyrie and James can fight over who gets the ball and fight in practice about, Kyrie, I got a ring, you don't. And James say, well, I'm MVP and you ain't. Then KD can say, and I'm better than both of y'all. So let's see if he can make it work.
I am praying for Steve Nash. I am praying for him by his whole Steve Aloysius Lucretius Nash, because, brother, he has to become a therapist. He has to become a camp counselor. He has to become a referee. He has to become a daddy. He has to become all of that, like right now.
Or he can just say, Mike D'Antoni, you handle this.
Wow.
He could. Steve is the head coach, but Mike is the assistant coach, and Mike has dealt with James before.
Yeah.
So, that could be what Mike's there for. Wow. To be the mediator and handle all those things, to be the counselor.
Did D'Antoni and Harden have that kind of relationship?
I think so. I think James is thrilled to death to be back with Mike D'Antoni, even though Mike is not the head coach. I think, and offensively, we all see it. The talent, the three of them on the floor, I think I saw a quote, you can't double team all three of them.
You sure
can. That's true. So they're going to score.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who they're going to stop, but they're going to score.
What about that bench? I mean, they literally depleted the best part of their bench with that trade.
Yes. Giving up on Jared Allen and Karis LeVert. They're going all in. They really are. They're going all in. This window is short because the draft picks they gave up, those are assets, and their bench is going to take a hit. Now, of course, when those veteran free agents have a chance to join them before the playoffs, a month before the playoffs, the rosters are set. They're going to be a hot ticket. So their bench might improve at that point in the season. But for now, it may be kind of depleted.
Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review, back with us on the lunch break, Throwback Thursday. Kris, going back to the Rockets and what they got back. Oladipo, a couple of years removed as an all-star player. Exum is a good reserve. Exum is a solid reserve.
Yeah.
He's not garbage. But the 4 first-round picks and then some of those pick exchanges, that's collateral. They can use that if they want to draft their next star. They can use that if they want to package it together and get their next star. The Rockets have flexibility that they did not have at the start of this season.
Yes, but I'm not sure who they could package to get their next star with these picks, because many of these picks will be bottom of the first round. So, these are Brooklyn picks. This year, the Nets would be 28, 29, 30th, into the first round. So that's not going to be a help to them. And who the Rockets going to package those picks with? PJ, Eric Gordon, not going to get you a star in return for that. But down the line, they do have assets now with these first-round picks. And on paper, many of them will be in the 20s. Okay. Many of them. But at least you have them now to use in trades to further improve your talent level for your acquisitions. Because, like we see with OKC, all kinds of picks. You got to have picks in order to get picks, in order to get talent.
Right.
It's hard to improve your squad via free agency when we have no assets to trade and you have no cap room as well. So the Rockets, and let's be real, listeners, family, I'll shoot it straight here. This deal was made to free up salary cap room. Oladipo, free agent in the summer.
Right.
Exum, free agent in the summer.
Right.
Karuk, team option next season. He'll be a free agent in the summer, barring some miracle that, he shines. And his salary's only like $2 million for next year. So they could keep him. But in terms of having more flexibility, and Oladipo, AJ, may still want to go to the Heat. So there's no guarantee he'll be back here with the Rockets next season.
Right.
So,
right.
VO5, he thinks he's a max player, despite coming off that really hard quadriceps tendon injury. He believes in himself. He thinks he's a max player. I doubt that Tillman want to pay him max money. Right now, Victor can't even play back-to-back games yet.
Yeah. But, I mean, they weren't playing back-to-back games with Westbrook. They weren't playing back-to-back games with Wall. I mean.
But they already had those contracts. They were already max deals.
Right. I got you.
Victor wants to get a max deal.
Yeah. And that's another reason why I said Boogie Cousins ain't going to put up with this long, because this is Boogie's shot. This is Boogie's probably final shot. And he ain't going to let James Harden and his moods mess up his chance to look better and get his, what could be his last big contract or, substantial contract. So, man, this was all coming to a head at some point. And I did say before you came on, the Rockets are officially in a rebuild.
Yes.
How long does this thing take to get turned around?
Well, it helps if John Wall can stay healthy, if DeMarcus can stay healthy, if Victor can stay healthy, if David Nwaba can stay healthy. All four of those guys are coming off injuries and some really serious injuries.
Right.
Eric Gordon, surgeries out the wazoo. Same Eric Gordon, if he can stay healthy. Christian Wood said in his session yesterday that he came to the Rockets to win. He's going to make this team competitive, whether they like it or not.
Okay.
So that's good to hear from him, and it'll be up to the rest of the guys to fall in line. John Wall is a vet. Christian Wood is young to the league, so it'll be up to C. Wood, John Wall, and DeMarcus to be the leaders of the team, because I'm not sure how long Mr. Tucker will be on this squad.
Mm-hmm.
And he might want to get out. I truly don't see the Rockets giving him a multi-year deal after this season. Why?
Not with Tate. Not with
the younger PJ on the squad already.
Right. Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review, here with us on Throwback Thursday on the lunch break. What you just did, I want you to do a little bit deeper. Let's look ahead. 3 years from now, what's this team look like?
3 years from now, John Wall may not be here.
Mm-hmm.
3 years. Eric Gordon has 3 or 4 years left on the deal. If he has 4, he might still be here because of his contract.
Mm-hmm.
This team could be Christian Wood's team, Jayshawn Tate's team, and draft picks team. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think PJ will be gone by then. DeMarcus will be gone by then. Ben McLemore, the role players will come and go. And hopefully, Stephen Silas will still be here by then.
We talked about that too. I'll come back to that. But that's the interesting thing about this franchise. When you look at how long they had Olajuwon, when you look at how long they had McGrady, when you look at how long they had Harden and what have you, to realize that might be kind of a thing of the past for a little while. This is what it looks like today, but it literally might not look like that in 2 years, let alone 3.
Yeah, you called it right. This is a rebuild. And because they're in the West, yes, they have 63 games left in this shortened season. But the Western Conference, they got teams to climb over if they want to make that 8th spot in the playoffs. And really, they're not better than the Lakers. That was proven Sunday and Tuesday and in the bubble.
Yep.
Rockets Lakers in the first round series, barring injuries to LeBron and AD, the Rockets not going to win that series.
Right.
If I can, brother.
Go ahead.
If I can. When the Rockets blew out Orlando Friday, the short-handed, undermanned, overwhelmed Orlando Magic. Rockets won by 40+. There were some of our colleagues who said or looked to the Lakers game on Sunday and then Tuesday as well as a chance for the Rockets as a barometer test to see where the Rockets are. Do you remember how this was Friday after the blowout win?
Yeah.
There were folks in the media thinking, oh, this is the real Rockets. The season's going to turn around now. Everything is peaches and cream. Barometer test. Rockets, Lakers, we're going to see how good the Rockets are. Days later, James gone. Well, first, they got mashed twice by the Lakers.
Yeah.
LeBron Lakers made fun of them in Tuesday's butt whooping. After the game, James said we're not good enough. And all of a sudden, James gets traded, and now things turn around. Wow, it's just amazing what happens in less than a week.
It's funny how things play out, bro.
Yeah.
It's just amazing how things play out. We got Kris Gardner here on the lunch break, Houston Roundball Review, joining us on Throwback Thursday. Longhorn Key, very, very good caller, great brother, knowledgeable, just love his spirit. Called in, and we were talking about a number of things, and then we got on Stephen Silas. And one of the things he said was, now that all this is cleared up, he hopes that Tillman Fertitta gives Stephen Silas a chance to be a part of the rebuild and to be here when these things got turned around. And it just hit my soul. Tillman Fertitta ain't our friend. We ain't boys. And sometimes the people that are nursing you aren't your mom and your dad. Right. I would not be surprised if they don't rebuild this organization and Tillman Fertitta brings somebody else in to run it.
How soon are you thinking that scenario?
My mindset is on a 2 to 3 year window. So maybe he gets 3 years.
That's plausible. And let me say, Stephen Silas, he said it again, that James Harden spoke up for him when Stephen was interviewing for the job, and he was positive and pushing for Stephen to get the job. That's what Stephen said himself. Now, a lot has changed since then, because ironically, Stephen said that Russ and James both spoke up for him during the coaching interview process.
Okay, let me pause you right there, because when I heard the presser, I heard Stephen Silas say, I wouldn't have this job if it had not been for Russell Westbrook. I did not hear him say I would not have had this job if it were not for Harden and Westbrook. I do know that Harden signed off on him, but I heard that Westbrook went to bat for him. Am I wrong?
No. Stephen said yesterday that James spoke up for him. It was one of the last interview parts of the process to help him get the job.
Okay.
Regardless, both of them are now gone.
Right.
Russ and James are now gone.
Right.
And Rafael Stone and Coach Silas said during that joint press conference that the goal this year was to still win a championship. Eric Gordon said today, expectations have changed.
Okay, good.
So the goal is no longer to win a championship. Eric said, and you can go to watch the video, the interview on Houston Roundball Review on YouTube, where Eric said that the goal now is to develop the players.
Okay.
They're still going to try to win and compete. None of that's changed, but realistically, the championship window is shut.
Yeah. I can understand that. I'm glad that there's a realistic expectation. I don't think that Fertitta's going to let this team win 17, 18 games and keep Stephen Silas. I don't think Stephen Silas is going to coach this team to 17, 18 wins. But I also think that if they get a superstar in here, or if they get, they rebuild it and, they do what Boston did and they develop some players from within, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, that there's still a realistic possibility if there's a big name coach out there or a hot name coach out there that Tillman Fertitta can get at Tillman Fertitta rates, he'll do it. If I'm Silas, I don't have any confidence that, I'm good. I'm a made man now.
Oh, no question. I agree with that for sure. Yeah. Okay. And the talent, the players are still going to compete.
Yeah, I believe that.
They're not going to roll over. Yes, they're 3-6, and based on what they got tonight, they may be 3-7 after 10 games. They still have a chance. Health is going to determine what they accomplished the rest of this season, because talent is there. John Wall is still talented. DeMarc is still talented. DeMarc is still trying to get back to where he was. I think John Wall is more further along than Boogie is. The talent is there, especially offensively.
Mm-hmm.
But they got to get healthy.
Yeah.
Because if they can't get healthy, then stay healthy, it's going to be a long year for the Rockets, for Coach Silas, the staff, the fans, and some of our colleagues.
Yeah, man. Some of our colleagues that really don't know where to go with things sometimes. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to be nice.
I am too. I'm tossing little pebbles right there right now. I'm not tossing rocks, boulders, but we kind of know who they are.
Yeah, you better than me, bro, because I called Aaron Wilson out yesterday. I got on him about those comments he made. I know it's a different sport, about Eric Bieniemy not interviewing well, and Atlanta wants to hire a black head coach, but they don't want to interview him because he doesn't interview well. And the Atlanta folks were like, where the heck did y'all get that? So I did. I called him out by name. Does Dante Exum become the first point guard off the bench when Wall goes to the bench? Is that the role he comes into, or is he a little bit further down the pecking order?
That's a good question. I mean, I think Eric Gordon would still be the first guard off the bench. You know, you have Wall and Victor Oladipo, then Eric Gordon, unless, you know, House's health issues keep him out longer, and Coach Silas puts Eric in at that wing spot.
Yeah.
The team is at a flux now. I mean, we don't know what they're going to do. First, they got to get healthy.
Yeah.
And then they have a chance to get some practice time in, and Coach Silas have a chance to decide what he wants to do, because John Wall's out tonight with left knee soreness. Eric Gordon, left knee soreness. House is out. First, it was bad back. Then it was health and safety protocols. So key pieces are not healthy.
I got to take a break, but Daniel House got health and safety protocols again.
That's what was. I didn't see anything officially, but that's what I've heard, and I was like, okay, well, something going on that brother there too. So
I'm like, come on, man, come on. All right, let me stop. Let me take a break. When I come back, I got an important question for you. We got Kris Gardner. It's not personal related.
Okay.
Yeah, it's related to the Rockets. That's a shame that people do that with me, like as if I only ask personal questions. We'll be right back right after this on the lunch break. Segment brought to you by the Care Team. If you don't have medical insurance, if you are like me and the millions of other folks that don't have health insurance, I want you to listen up to the Care Team spot. It'll be right after the Tax Doctor and Lily, right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legendary KYOK.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they're able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less. 800-603-9359. 800-603-9359. That's 800-603-9359.
As the coronavirus is ravaging our community, make sure you have health insurance. Let Care Team Insurance assist you with our free medical enrollment assistance program. Call now and see what you qualify for at 281-990-1377. There are over 13 million people without insurance that should qualify for plans starting at $0 to only $50 per month. Care Team has helped thousands of people just like you by providing free enrollment assistance. Don't be taken advantage of by people selling bad or fake insurance. Make sure you have health insurance. Let Care Team Insurance assist you. This is AJ Jones, and KYOK listeners, I want you to call now and see what you qualify for. Plans starting at $0 to only $50 per month at 281-990-1377. 1377. That's 281-990-1377. Or visit careteamcares.com.
Let's get it. Lunch break crew. What's up with it?
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Throwback Thursday. About to wrap it up. And got Kris Gardner here with me on the show. Kris, from Houston Roundball Review, of course. Kris, here's the important question I wanted to ask you. Where did this all go wrong? How did we end up here?
Quickly.
I mean, yeah, we hear quick. Like at the start of the season, there was hope that the Rockets would kind of add pieces to build on what they didn't have in the bubble. Because everybody told me that the Rockets lineup was going to be better than the Lakers lineup, and the role players were going to be better, and da-da-da-da-da. That was nonsense. So I thought they were adding pieces to what they had, and we about to make a run. And
a run to what? To the store? What?
Well, to the store, but I'm just saying, top eight.
Okay, yeah.
They could have made one of the Miami runs. Kris beat nice. They could have went Miami on them.
Not if they played the Lakers in the first round, they wouldn't have. No. It went wrong when D'Antoni left. Well, okay, it went wrong when Tillman dissed D'Antoni publicly about his contract. That's when it first started going wrong. And D'Antoni I think he was done then. He was going when Tillman made the public comments about Mike as under contract and we're going to play it out at the end of the season. I think Mike was done then. And then when they lost to the Lakers in the bubble on the plane back, Mike said, made it up his mind to tell them that he's not coming back. Darryl leaves, Russ leaves, then James says he wants out. So I think the first domino was Tillman going public with Mike and there's coaching issues, and that's started right there.
Okay. What made James Harden and Russ just like, man, I got to get out of here. Like, I got to get out of here right now.
We may never know the exact, you hear the rumors about they didn't like Tillman's political viewpoint, which I think is nonsense and irrelevant. Not say irrelevant, but minuscule in the decision-making process. But behind the scenes, something changed that we may never know what caused it. Something was said, something was done, because the Rockets did everything James Harden wanted.
Yeah.
Almost to a fault.
Right.
They gave everything James wanted. They brought in players that he wanted. It didn't work.
That we want to get rid of.
Exactly. It didn't work. And because I've maintained for a little bit that the talent, if healthy, with John Wall, with DeMarcus Cousins, with Christian Wood, that the talent had potential to be James's best team since that 65-win team. He had already made up his mind that he wanted out. He did not want to give the team a chance. That's my take on that. So he said all the right things that, when he did speak to the media once the season started, his mind was made up. He was done. And it's just time to move on. I'm like DK, Harden's gone, now it's time to move on. Rockets Spurs tonight.
Yep.
Next.
Yep. Yeah, let's and tonight is, we'll leave tonight out. Tonight's gonna be aberration. I mean, either they're gonna do something special or it's gonna go about like we thought it was. When fully healthy, what's the starting lineup look like?
Okay, Oladipo, John Wall, I guess eventually Danwell House, Christian Wood, and for now, Mr. Tucker.
So Oladipo, Wall, who'd you say at the three?
If he ever gets healthy, House. But I think
okay.
it may be end up becoming Ben McLemore.
Ben McLemore. That's
short
what I was
term.
Saying. And then PJ and Christian Wood.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're bringing Gordon off the bench when he's healthy, Boogie off the bench, and other guys.
Jay Shante and David Nwaba. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the fact that they go down like 10 left deep. I like that. I really do. I hope they do that.
That's the thing, AJ. The depth is there. And if you listen to the local broadcast, Matt Bullard and Bill Worrell. It's interesting to hear them say how much better the depth on the team is this year. They didn't say these things about the last year's squad. They said how much better the team's depth is for this season. So it's there. The numbers until recently were showing that the depth was better, but they got to get healthy. They got to stay healthy, and then you just compete and let the chips fall where they may. But James had already, in my opinion, made up his mind that he wanted out. He wasn't going to give this team, this squad, a chance to see what they could do, and he wanted out.
Yeah,
So good luck to him.
It's over. It's
Yep.
over. It's over. It's over. Any expectations? If you had to say this team is going to be this season?
I mean, I think I mentioned earlier that the 8th seed was possible. That's less likely now because the hole is getting deeper for them, and they're in the West. You know, they could end up, 36 and 36. That won't be good enough to get an 8th spot in the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, not Portland. Phoenix was competitive last year, and they were what, 12th?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any thoughts on what Brooklyn is going to look like? Everybody comes back healthy. Kyrie, gets calibrated and decides he wants to play basketball again. Durant's healthy. Harden.
But for how long would that be?
We don't know Kyrie. I said there's a couple of guys
exactly
that their own beat. Kyrie Irving, Kawhi Leonard. Those two are on a whole different plane. What you think?
The Nets are on paper the second best team in the East. I'm still picking the Bucks, and you got the East is now top heavy for sure with the Bucks, the Nets, the Heat, Sixers, and Celtics. I think Karis LeVert with Indiana is going to be nice for them, but I don't know what Kyrie's going to do from day to day.
Yeah.
We could assume they got the firepower to get a lot of things done.
Yeah.
We can assume that they're going to get along and agree to be selfless. But until we see it, it's unproven. Yeah, they say we're going to share the ball. Okay. I got to see you do it. I got to see you come crunch time one game or a few games in a row when James doesn't get the ball in crunch time. Then what? What is James going to say? Or if Kyrie doesn't get the ball in crunch time, what is he going to say? Will they be good with that? Especially if they lose. If they lose on the last second shot.
Right.
And why do you pass the ball?
And the wrong dude takes a shot and misses. Yeah, you're right.
So
all right, so it's way too early, but give me your Western Conference Finals and your Eastern Conference Finals.
Lakers. I want to see it. So Lakers, Clippers, and then Bucks, Nets.
Really? So that Philadelphia team that we're looking at right now ain't gonna be there.
You said right now. I think they're going to make changes to get better, but I'm going to Bucks, Nets.
I ain't mad at you. I'm not. I'm just asking.
I very well could be wrong, but now, Bucks,
way too early. But Lakers, Clippers, Bucks, Nets. I like it. It's plausible. It's possible. It's possible. Everybody's in love with the Sixers right now. They feel like they done found the magic elixir and they got it all figured out. And now they don't have to worry about James Harden coming in and messing it up. So
very true. Well put.
Yeah. Toronto is scaring me. They way down at the bottom.
They're battling out with my Pistons about being the worst team in the East. So
it's like that's the battle you want to be in, right?
They don't. Detroit. It's time to rebuild and reload. Finally, they finally have a plan. So, once they get rid of Blake and Derek, here we go.
Problem in Detroit?
Say it again.
Is Dwayne Casey part of the problem in Detroit?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Okay.
He is. When he got hired, they were closer to being a playoff team, and now he's in a rebuilding mode.
Okay.
So he accepts that. he isn't happy about it, I'm sure, because it's definitely not the squad that he inherited when he took over.
Right.
But they have a plan now, and and good to my man Mr. Grant speaking out publicly about the reason why he took the Sound the Pistons, because they got a black GM and a black head coach.
All right. Kris, we got to go, bro. Never enough time when we're hanging out. Tell everybody where they can find you and follow you, all the great stuff you're doing out there on the Houston Roundball Review.
Website, HoustonRoundballReview.com, Houston Roundball Review on YouTube, and props to everybody signing up and subscribing to Houston Roundball Review on YouTube. Instagram, same thing, Houston Roundball Review. Twitter, a little bit different, depending on where you're from in the country, THEHR Review. So college, pro, Houston Roundball Review. Local name, national perspective.
Love it, man. Love it. Also love what U of H is doing still. UT had a tough loss last night, but
it's good for U of H though, because they beat Texas Tech.
I know it is. But anyway, man, I'm rooting for both of those squads, and you know why. So, sure. Kris, keep doing what you're doing. We'll see you back next Thursday. I did good. I didn't ask you any personal questions today.
And right now, I don't have anything new to share, but I'm working on it. So
I know you are. Listen, I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to be that guy that you got to avoid me, because here we go. So, Kris, I appreciate you as always, man. Have a good rest of your day. Bring us a victory. Brother. Saturday, bring us a victory from Saturday.
Okay. I have no say in that matter. I'm just going to report it and write about it and keep on going. So,
all right, man. I appreciate the drops too, man. Everything you've been sending me has been right on point. So thank you, man.
You're welcome, man. Thank you very much for the time. Y'all take care.
All right, we'll talk to you next week.
Be safe. Yes, sir.
Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review, doing what he always does, and that's getting us up to date with all the basketball here in Houston, especially those Rockets. Again, a lot of your comments about James Harden. We got to get ready to go. Get Sybil Wilkes on here with her COVID-19 update. And then after that, of course, Donnie McClurkin and the Donnie McClurkin Show. And of course, we'll be back, Lord say the same, tomorrow with Freestyle Friday. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it except wear your mask, wash your hands, sanitize everything around you, give everybody 6 feet, and when you see that racism, kill it, not the person, the racism.
Coronavirus deaths at over 4,300. Ohio researchers announced they've discovered 2 new variants of the coronavirus that likely originated in this country. The U.S. strains appear to make COVID-19 more contagious, but do not seem like they will diminish the effectiveness of the vaccines. The U.S. House of Representatives began working early this morning, moving to impeach Donald Trump for a historic second time. That's expected by day's end. The single charge accuses the president of inciting an insurrection, which led to last week's violent attack. The inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden 1 week from today. Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser and the governors of Maryland and Virginia joined together in asking Americans to stay away from the nation's capital and participate in the presidential inauguration virtually. Please visit SybilWilkes.com to subscribe to my free daily newsletter.
Legendary 1140 AM, KYOK Conroe, and 92.3 FM, K222CX Houston.
All right, y'all. Hey, I hope y'all enjoyed today's show, man. Had a lot of fun with it. And again, a lot of comments online, a lot of comments in the different text messages and phone calls and all that. So I appreciate y'all. Man, you know what? Sports is just, you never know what's going to happen. That's why I love what I do, and I love you guys too. So please stay safe out there. Not this, definitely this. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Y'all take care. Love y'all.